So socks for a slippery floor, hardwood floor, softball, and ankle weights. If you're on the carpet, you can do without the socks as long as you get some glide. A little bit of breathing work. Wanted to focus today also on our deep core and abdominals. So the weight out here at our feet is going to help us feel our abs as well. Ball is going to come about the center of your back, and we're just going to start with some nice breathing work. Hands can come behind your head. Take a nice big stretch. Inhale, up and over. Enjoy maybe a nice morning stretch. Oh, and then exhale, flex, and come back up. Let's start to play with that just a little bit. Inhaling to enjoy a sense of lengthening in your spine, and then exhaling to flex and feel the pivot on the ball. Inhaling. So right now we are going through a more extreme range of motion. Finding a full extension. Also play with the placement of the ball. What feels good for you. And last one like this. And exhale. Flexing. Bring it all the way back up. Stay up for me. And let's just lift our bottom and tuck the wheel of our pelvis real quick. So we feel pretty anchored through the spread of our sacrum. And then feel pretty supported in that ball behind you. Make sure it's not too low that you feel like you're yanking your chin and your head up to an upright position. Now we're going to go a little smaller range of motion. Take an easy inhale, and I want you to more or less lengthen your spine without popping the ribs. Notice that you don't fold at that bra line. You actually keep the ribs anchored. The pelvis is heavy, and you try to extend the upper thoracic. Let your head feel heavy in the hands, and then flex and come back forward. So it's a smaller range of motion. Inhaling and exhale, flex. Inhaling and exhale, flex. Inhaling and exhale, flex. Let's do 4 more. Inhaling. Start to warm up your breath. Maybe standing into those feet just a little bit. Last 3. Give me 2. Almost there. Last one. Can we stay lifted all the way up? We're going to go into our twists. We're going to inhale, opening our body to the right. And then we're going to exhale, pull through center all the way to the left. Inhale all the way to the right. Exhale, pull through center to the left. Keep an anchored sensation through your feet and your pelvis. Think of the twist and the crisscross coming from the rib cage, not the pelvis. We've got 4 more. Inhaling and exhaling. Last 3. And exhaling, try to stay lifted. Let the head feel heavy in the hands. Last 2. And exhale, stay lifted. Almost there. Last 1. And exhale, curling up. All the way back through center. Soften everything back and down. Take a nice big inhale. If it feels good, let go of your head, moving kind of into those puppet arms as though you're sort of reaching right to left. Massaging your waist just a little bit here. Then the hands will come behind the thighs and help yourself all the way up. Let's remove the ball for just a moment, placing it out of the way as we move into our hips. Just a little bit as we warm up. So walk your feet nice hips distance apart. Arms can open out to a nice T, a cactus, or they can even stay at a low 45 if that's more comfortable. And just move from the hips first. Take an inhale as you rock to one side. Exhale, give me a little posterior tilt as you bring it back up. Back and forth. Warming up first through the hips, trying to get a nice little stretch through the front of your hips, the quads, right? And maybe a little bit those hip flexors. Finishing the last one that you're on. And then bringing everything back up. We bring the hands behind our head this time for a little progression, moving into an upper body twist with the thighs. So our thighs are going to fall to the left. And like a dead weight, the shoulder isn't going to easily come along. Think it's really heavy and like it doesn't want to come with you as you start to twist and reach through the back of the right shoulder down towards the floor. Take an inhale here. Exhale, start to lay the upper body down first. Feel a little bit like you're spreading yourself back down. Find that little posterior tilt and curl the pelvis back through center, all the way over towards the right now. And again, like dead weight, feel like that left shoulder is begrudgingly coming along. It doesn't want to move, and you're peeling yourself off the mat, tapping the floor with the far left elbow, and then gently feel like you're going to spread yourself back down. Visualize like you could spread yourself really thin too. Little scoop and back up. Let's do that once more. Let the weight help to deepen the stretch by feeling kind of heavy around the ankles and away from your center. A little scoop, and then peel yourself back over to the left. Stretching through the left shoulder, and then gently pour yourself all the way back down. Let's go ahead and walk ourselves through center. The ball now is going to come underneath our pelvis as we find a little balance on top. Let's move back into those low hips and start to circle in your pelvic clocks. Relaxing the hips, little tuck and tilt, right to left, and then let's reverse. The ball should be at the triangular bony piece at the end of your spine. So make sure it's not high into your low back so that you can feel like you've got to place your pelvis on the ball and it's going to stay there. Let's push energy down into our arms just a little bit as we start to lift and lower our legs. That weight suddenly makes it quite a bit harder. Checking in with our box. So put your thumbs down at your low ribs and your fingertips at those ASIS points. And make sure that as you lift and lower the legs, the box is not moving. That's your waist. Focus on each exhale, translating your ribs down towards the mat underneath you. Let's go ahead and lift both legs. Stay up there. And let's go ahead and start to move through both legs, dipping and lifting. Dipping and lifting. It's not nearly as big because if you go too far, your box will move. So focus on a feeling of spreading those shoulders back and down, standing into the back of your arms. Try to let the 12th rib feel heavy towards the mat underneath you. A little bit more weight out here. Let's do 4 more. Last 3. Think of the breathing. Think of that exhale, how you forcefully press the air out of your lungs, and then all the way back up. Keep the legs straight up towards the ceiling, finding a nice Pilates V. Inhale as they lower, exhale as they lift. Again, find your range of motion where you can keep your box really still. Lengthening. We've got 4 more. Strong, straight legs. Visualize that sort of like you're stretching them up towards the ceiling so they aren't falling down into the pelvis and the ball underneath you, but they're really long in the opposite direction. Last one. All the way up. Let's go ahead and bend back to tabletop. Let both knees fall into your chest and take a moment to kind of let the wheel of your pelvis turn. Couple easy breaths here. Send the breath back and down into the low ribs and the lumbar spine. Then use the exhale to lift the abdominals. Think a little bit of that flexion in your spine from our first breathing exercise. Last one. Gently, we'll bring those feet back down. Slowly lift the hips up. Removing the ball, lay your spine down. Let it feel nice and long to the very end. Ball is going to come between your thighs as we move into our bridge series. Pressing energy down through your feet, rock the wheel of your pelvis, start to lift your hips up, and gently pour yourself back down. Hopefully your spine feels really loosey-goosey, nice and fluid, especially kind of through the hips. Add a little squeeze to the ball to help remember that inside leg line connects to your deep core through the pelvis up along the front of the spine. Last one here, we're going to go ahead and press down into the feet, lift it all the way up. Stay here for me. Let's move into a single leg kick. Right leg lengthens and place it back down. Left leg. The added weight makes it a little bit more work. So pull, squeezing into the ball, lifting in and up through those layers of abdominals, And add a little push through the back of your arms. We've got 4 more. Last 2. Finishing the last one that you're on, reconnect and gently start to pour yourself all the way back down. Let it feel really long. Take an easy inhale. Exhale, start to curl and pick yourself all the way up. Hold here at the top, and let's play a little bit with our spine again, going right to left in our typewriter. I want you to think that your rib cage is laterally moving right to left as you're reaching through the hips and the knees. This is a little bit of oblique connection, right? So how do you translate your ribs right to left, engaging those intercostals and internal obliques? Once your rib cage settles down, lay the spine down through center. Last time, curl, start to pick it up. Then go left to right, left to right. A little back and forth. Last 2. Almost there. Find the bottom of your ribs. Gently lay your spine down. Let it breathe. Let's go ahead and stretch the legs long and strong all the way down towards the mat and let them feel really heavy as the ball finds, place the ball between your hands. And let's stretch the arms up and back. Nice big inhale. Exhale, I want you to think about pushing energy through your fingertips as you lift head, neck, chest. Curl towards your quads, curl towards your thighs, squeezing the ball, lifting up and over. Place it between your feet. Give a little squeeze. Now hold on to the ball between your feet as you pour yourself all the way back down. Keep it long. Take an inhale. Exhale, squeeze and lift. Think of that inside leg line from the deep core all the way to the toes. Grab onto the ball, give a little squeeze with those hands, and gently start to pour yourself all the way back down. Use the weight to your advantage, keeping that kind of grounding sensation through the backs of the legs all the way down to the feet. Give a little squeeze and pour yourself all the way back down. Think of the space between your first and second toe. Finding that scoop, 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 up and over, grabbing onto it, gently pour yourself all the way down. Let's do that once more. And exhale, lift. Curling, 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 lifting up, 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 up and over. Give a little squeeze, and then gently stack yourself all the way back up. Whew. All right. So from here, let's set the ball out of the way for just a moment. As we actually move into a switched position, we're going to change our mat and bring it quarter turn, a little perpendicular, because I want our feet to move. So now we're going to go ahead and come on to a tabletop position. If you need a little bit more space, make sure your knees are onto the mat, or maybe you just want to walk to the far side of your mat, just with the way that the room is set up. This works better for me. So hands are going to stay underneath, shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. Kind of move through just a little cat-cow as we start to sort of, again, find that nice mobility through our spine. Relaxing those shoulders back and down. Stand into the width of the arms, and let's hold here. Flexing your feet down into the floor. Let's just move through our legs first. I want you to slide the leg out from underneath you, and then bring it back underneath. Then the left. Focus on sort of the neutral spine. So visualize like there's a tray on your back, and you're not going to spill anything on that tray. So the leg slides as seamlessly as possible, if you could picture that, right? So wrapping those shoulders back and down, lifting the layers of abdominals. Keep that pelvis really quiet. Pushing energy down through your feet just a little bit to make those legs work. Let's press that right leg out, hold it there. We're gonna work a little bit on a swing, so pull it to the right and then back through center. Pull it to the right and back through center. Where's your balance? As the leg comes out to the side, are you shifting the weight into the outside of your left hip? Or can you hold it still? Let's do 4 and reach. Last 3, pushing into the floor. 2 and almost there. Last 1, back through center, bends the knee back underneath you, left leg lengthens. Hold a beat. We swing out and center. And out and center. Now I have the wall beside me, so I can visualize I'm going to try to tap the wall and then back through center, right? Your setup might be just a little different. Keep that tabletop nice and straight. right? Shoulders are quiet. They're out of your ears. Lift the layers of abdominals. Watch that you don't dump into the low back. Almost there. Last one. And center. And all the way back in. Shift coming off of your hands for just a moment. You can even do a little bit of a reverse stretch if that feels good, where you're putting the backs of your hands down onto the mat, helping to open up your wrists. We're going to flip now. We're going to go back to our abs, still kind of working the legs and the weight. So grabbing onto that ball. Now we're going to sit on the mat with our feet still off of it on that slippery surface. And then the ball's going to come, again, about the center of your back. So find the sweet spot, again, that works for you. Let's enjoy a nice big stretch once more, opening up, kind of letting it all hang out for a minute. Notice that there's no work here, right? You're sort of just letting gravity open the chest. Because I want you to try to hold on and think of the opposite, right? When we move into that flexion, we're going to exhale, flex the spine, knit the ribs, lift through the head, neck, and chest, and now we're actively holding against that gravity weight. We're going to stay lifted. Notice if you're yanking with your hands, let the head feel heavy in the hands and fold at the bra line to keep yourself lifted. Right leg is going to reach and then pull back in. Left leg reach. So we're kind of actually going right back to our single leg work. Pushing and pulling. And focus on the pulling of the ribs down as the legs push and pull. I'm going from a point to a flex. You can move through your feet as it feels good for you. Focus on the knitting sensation of the ribs and the freedom of your legs, right? So your pelvis and your rib cage are holding still, and then the legs are pushing and pulling. And last one. Now both legs together. And up. And together. A little bit harder here. Can you squeeze them and think of that ball that was earlier, right, in between our thighs? Keep knitting the ribs down. We've got 4. Last 3. Use that inside leg line to zip up to the deep pelvis, deep core. Almost there, last one. All the way back in. Soften everything back and down. Let it breathe. Opening it up. Nice, easy inhale. And then exhale, pivot. And fold yourself up. We're going to move back into that twist. So now the right leg is going to lengthen as we exhale, twist. And we're going to pull back to center. Easy inhale. Exhale, twist. Yep. And then pull back to center. So I want you to use your left foot just a little bit. Now, if you are on a hard surface, it might feel a little slippery. You don't have the mat under there to help you grip the foot to the floor anymore. So I want you to think of that weight and try to hold that left leg really still as you twist. 3. Almost there. Last 2. Last 1. Back through center. Soften everything back and down. Again, maybe moving through those puppet arms just real quick. We've got the other side to do. Right? This is that rib cage, that twist we've been working with. Flexing through the spine, lifting head, neck, chest. Bring it up here. Let's go ahead and take a nice big inhale as we twist to the right. And then pull to center. Inhale to the right. And pull to center. Inhale to the right. And pull to center. Opening and center. Lengthening. Woo. We've got 3. Last 2. Where's that right foot? Where's the neutral table? The neutral pelvis. And last 1. And soften everything back and down. Let it breathe. Take a nice big inhale. Hands come behind the thighs. Gently curl yourself all the way up. Let's flip now to lying on our left side. So the ball's going to come sort of underneath our left ribs as a little bit of a prop. And we're gently going to lay ourselves down onto our left side. So my mat is underneath my left hip so that I don't feel like I'm I have the outside of my bony greater trochanter against the floor, right? But I feel pretty supported with the mat and the ball. I'm okay with my elbow and my knee being off. You can find what feels good for you. So from here, let's just start with that clamshell. Just open and close. Open and close. We're going to move into a little bit of balance. And by that I mean, how do we pull the weight out of our legs and hold our bodies with our core so that our legs can move more freely? Again, looking at the deep core, right, and pelvis. From here, let's go ahead and press it open and hold. So think a little bit that the top leg is really light. That's bringing the weight out of the ankle weights, right? And I want you to go ahead and press both legs straight and then pull both legs back in. Press both legs straight and then pull both legs back in. So we've got to bring the weight out of our legs into our waist. Notice if you are really pushing into that right hand. So keep it a little bit light for me so that we don't make this too much of a shoulder exercise. Let's do twice more. Frogs. Reaching. Can we add on just a little bit? Stretch it, hold a beat, lift the leg, lower, and peel them back in. Stretch it, hold a beat, lift, and lower. Now, I am in a little Pilates beat. If turnout is not for you, that's fine. You could try to stay in parallel. We've got 4 more. Press. Do you feel the outside of your right hip? Bend and press and lift and lower. Good. Bend and press and lift and lower. Good. Finding that balance through the left side of your body so that your legs can move freely. Last one. And press and lift and lower. Now let's go ahead and bend and press. Stay out there. Our legs will move through a parallel. So stay in a parallel. We're just going to lift and lower and lift and lower. Up and down. We are still in parallel. It's just the top leg that's moving right now. Let's do 4, 3, last 2, and 1. Now can you keep it up? And we're just going to float the legs apart as we scissor. Forward and back, and forward and back. They are still in parallel. Notice how much of your body weight you're holding into that right shoulder. So think a little bit of pulling the navel up as you kick that right leg forward. That's the hard direction. Notice if you're dumping into the low back. 4, and swing it. 3, and swing it. Last 2, and swing it. Almost there. Last 1. Back through center, all the way back in, and bend and soften all the way back in. Let's go ahead and pick ourselves up. A little bit of a prop change here. I'm going to move my mat farther that way. So I've got room over here. We're going to come first back into an abdominal series now. So let's go ahead and bring that ball behind us again. Laying down onto our back. You can take a nice big stretch if that feels good for a moment. Let it breathe. Anchor your pelvis. Flex. Lifting head, neck, and chest. We're going to stay here. Let's go back to our legs working together. Give me a little squeeze of the abdominals, pulling in and up. We're going to inhale to lengthen and bend. And lengthen and bend. Pushing out and in. Notice whether or not you're yanking your chin forward or if you can feel heavy in the hands and fold right there at that TL junction. That's your thoracic lumbar junction. Last 4. Give me 3. Last 2. Last 1. Can we stretch it all the way out? Hold. Right leg is going to lift and lower. Left leg is going to lift and lower. So what I'd like you to do is push down into that opposite heel. Use the weight on the around the foot that's grounded to help anchor the pelvis and connect deeper into the core, the back of your spine, and your pelvic floor. Last 1 right, last 1 left, back together, bend and soften. Let it breathe. Take a nice easy inhale. Opening it up. We're going to exhale, lift, head, neck, chest, curl, and hold. Now we're going to go back to the crisscross, but we're going to do it right to left instead of just on one side. So from here, I'd like you to lengthen through the left leg as you open, and as you pull to center, you're going to switch the legs. Back and forth. Twisting. Try to fold at that brow line. Oh, I'm getting tired. I can feel it. I can feel my body wanting to fall backwards. So keep pulling from the back of your core. Visualize that you're really flexing through the spine. We've got 4. Last 3. Give me 2. Woo! Almost there. Last 1. Bicycle those legs. Back to center and soften. Everything back and down. Again, reach those arms up and back for a moment if that feels good. Curl the hands behind the thighs and pick yourself all the way up. We're going to turn to face towards each other as the ball comes underneath your right ribs, making a pillow with your right hand. If you'd like, make sure your outside of your hip is padded, right, so that you feel comfortable in this position for just a little while. So moving into those clamshells, left leg lifts and lowers. And lifts again. Watch the weight there in your left hand. How kind of much can you pull the work out of your limbs to really feel that abdominal connection? Externally rotating. We've got 5. Last 4. Give me 3. Last 2. And 1, we're going to add on. So we're going to externally rotate, hold. It's then in this external rotation that we press the legs out, pull them back in, and close. Lift and reach, pull and close. Lift and reach, pull and close. Lift and reach, pull and close. We've got 4. And reach, pull and close. Last 3, and reach, pull, and close. Last 2, reach, pull, and close. Last 1, reach, pull, and close. Let's go ahead and open it up, reach it out, stay out there for me. And then with that external rotation, we're going to lift and lower, and lift and lower, and lift and lower. Good, stretch it. Let's do 5 and 4. Give me 3. Last 2 and 1. From here, we're going to go find that parallel position. Same thing, lift and lower. It's smaller range of motion in the parallel. Not quite as high. Pushing through the outside of your hip. Let's do 5. 4. Give me 3. Last 2 and 1. Can we keep it lifted? Stay up there for me, and you're going to scissor the legs back and forth. Forward and back, and forward and back. Where are those abs? Forward and back, forward and back. Pull up through your left obliques. Switching it back and forth, reaching through those legs. 5 and switch, and 4 and switch. Last 3 and switch. Give me 2. Last 1, bring it all the way back through center, soften, and pull it all the way back in. Carefully press yourself up. All right, very good. Let's go ahead and remove the ball, placing it out of the way for a moment. We're going to come back into our tabletop, moving now back into tabletop up to plank, if that's appropriate for you, right? So back onto our wrists. If you need to take breaks, go ahead and do so. Roll those shoulders back and down, maybe a little bit of like a flexion and extension through the spine. Wrapping those shoulders. Find your tabletop. Think that the collarbones are wide. You're sending energy down through the limbs. Let's just press that left leg straight. Hold a beat. See how that feels. Pull the abdominals in and up. And then bring it back underneath you. Right leg. Stretch. Lift. And bend back in. Just that little back and forth. Wrap the shoulders back and down. We've been doing this motion a lot already, right? So hopefully the hips feel super fluid, right? Pushing and pulling. But you also feel the connection of our legs to our core, right? They're not by themselves down there. They connect to the trunk, and the trunk then connects right to our upper shoulder girdle. So we're thinking about the midline of our body. Press that left leg out, hold it there. If you're game, standing into that left foot, bring the right leg to meet it. Right? Now I want you to tap in and press, and in and press, in, press. Let the weight help slide that foot out. Back and forth. Lifting the layers, wrap the shoulders back and down. Look just beyond your fingertips. Don't hang your head. Hold the navel towards the spine behind you. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Press it out and then sink and pull both knees back underneath you. Take a moment and stretch. If it feels good, you can flex the wrists a little bit in that opposite direction. Kind of help open up the front of your wrists. Whew, very nice.